I welcome you to the Mary Horgan Center. I've just been announcing what's happening in the next few weeks. But tonight we're going to talk about 2012 and where we are in the scenario of what's been referred to as the shift of the ages and other descriptions. The Mayan calendar seems to end on December 21st, 2012, and this is 1 month to the day before that date arrives, which is a planetary alignment with the center of the galaxy. And many people have predicted that there will be some visible changes, some massive changes. Some people that want to produce fear say that it's going to be the end of the world. I truly hope it's the end of the world as we have known it. I'd like to move into a world that works for everybody. One that creates win-win situations instead of victims and victimizers. One where we all are a brother's keeper and we all recognize the interconnectedness of all life. But tonight we're going to talk about 2012 in the aspect of it being a spiritual awakening. And it will be an open forum. And each person will have the opportunity, if they choose it, to discuss what they've seen. Now, Steve is videoing everything right now. There's 8 of us that maybe can be seen in the scope of it. Pan onto the food so that people can see the kind of food that
That's why we come here.
That's why we come here, yeah.
And the donation basket.
It's an excuse to eat snacks.
I always put out lots of food, and that's been a tradition. I put out way more food than most spiritual groups ever even think of. You're lucky if you get cookies with most groups.
Oh, no, wait a minute.
Oh, come on, that's not fair. You know Claudia puts out quite a spread.
That's true.
Claudia
You
puts out
cannot beat
Christmas
Claudia.
But Claudia used to come to the here, and I got it from her.
It's contagious.
So that's that's the Friday night group that I go to that I've talked about. I'm assuming this is going to get on. I'm going to put this on YouTube, like I'm talking to the people that want to see something. So we're only going to have a 1 hour worth of videoing tonight, so we may not be able to cover everything, or we're going to cover 1 hour of whatever that is. But Steve had some things that he wanted to share in regard to the video that he recommended to me called Apocalypse, which was an actual TV program on BBC, Channel 4 in Great Britain. And if you will, Steve, can you get where you're on the camera? And bring somehow leave the camera running.
Yeah.
Sit in a big chair, right? Switch seats with me, Steve.
Yes, switch seats with Tony so that you can talk. And Tony, come over here. Tony, don't walk out of the picture.
He wants to get his $5.
All right, Tony's doing snacks now. Tony's
The TV special was a guy named Darren Brown, who's a illusionist, mentalist, hypnotist out of England, and he's been on TV for some time over there. And he had a program he put together called Apocalypse this summer, in which he interviewed numerous people and selected a young man who was somewhat disengaged in his lifestyle with his family there in England. And so what he did was Darren used some staging and some hypnosis, and through the staging he convinced this young man that the world was coming to an end, or at least coming to an apocalypse of some sort. And the scenario is takes him through this incident where meteorites are coming down, and so supposedly some disease has been released on the earth, and he's separated from his family, and he's having to try to get back to his family. And he's convinced this young man, and we're in his mid-20s, that this is so, and then he has actors who come into the play who are playing this role. But the whole point of let me finish it off. So eventually they stage it so that the young man comes out of himself and finds value with his family, value with himself, about the qualities he had to be able to lead and to be able to stand up for what he believed in. Okay? And after it was all over with, then he's a changed man after several days of having this experience, and then they revealed to him that it was all put on, it was all staged. As a result of it, though, the young man went through a major change, and they document that in the TV show. The thing that got me, Darren Brown is obviously an entertainer, a showman, and I was a little bit concerned about the sensationalism that in the TV show. And so I went online and I did some research, and I did find some discussion. I found some friends of the family who knew him personally, who guaranteed people that he was not acting. It was that he was totally in the dark about this. I'm suspicious that he might have been under hypnosis a bit during the experience, because I've seen this type of thing done before, where they would take people in and put them under and take them through an experience, much like they do, like, trying to be free from cigarette smoking and so forth, and it was with some success. And but that's not well, that was the value of it. But what I really got out of this was the fact that this young man had this experience in his mind that was real to him, and it transformed his life. Okay, and that's the thing that I got out of it. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, this has a message to me regarding to what is to come in our awakening. Obviously, it was all an illusion, but yet it woke him up, and he found himself. He found parts of himself that he didn't know were there, that were dormant within him. And the message to me was that that's what's going to happen in this shift. That whatever takes place, it's all about our awakening. It's all about our realizing who we are. Now, some of us have already aware of this, or right through the awakening process, so we have already been dealing with some of our issues and letting go of who we thought we were, with our attachments to our egos. But whatever's going to happen, whatever's going to unfold in this process of what's to come in this shift, it's going to awaken everybody up in due time. Not forcefully, but just experientially. It's the experience I think we're going to be having that's going to help us. And then there's going to be, I believe also there's going to be some energy that's going to come to us. Since I got the platform here, I'll go ahead and say that I believe that some of the junk DNA that's within us, that's been laying dormant for a long time, if this new energy comes and gives us what we think is going to happen, it may not happen instantly, but in the process, it may awaken some of that DNA, and I think some of us are going to find, just as we all have certain gifts and strengths about us that make us unique, I think we're all going to find that we're going to have other gifts and talents and strengths that make us unique. It's all about serving one another. It's all about gifts and talents to be given away, right?
Amen.
So anyway, that's my general perspective, and so I'd like to hear your comments about that.
It's interesting. Steve and I were talking before the meeting began tonight, and Tony's coming back. But interestingly, Steve watches my videos pretty much every single day. He didn't watch my video today, where I talked about that very thing. That Steve
that was
talking
interesting.
about.
I was so busy today.
So I found that interesting because he always watches my videos. But one of the things that he was doing is he was using the illustration of the Wizard of Oz, because this fellow, whose name was also Steve in the movie, he was very self-centered. Took advantage of relationships, didn't express appreciation, didn't have confidence in himself, didn't do anything because he felt whatever he was going to do, he would fail. And this is true of a lot of people. But he found courage, he found strength, the inner strength, and he found compassion by believing that, by actually experiencing his world falling apart, his relationships torn asunder, and he did a lot of introspection, which I think is what's happening in the awakening for humanity, is we are all in places individually that we are having to discover what is really valuable to us. And that's I think the most significant thing that I think is happening last year and this year, but I do want to throw this open to other people. What do you see happening? I'd like to hear from each of you, what do you see happening here in 2012? And what do you think has already happened in the past couple of years? And where do you think there will be a 2013? Or if you don't, why? Do you think we're going to leave this world and go to a different world? What do you see? What's your personal take on the 2012 scenario, if you will, in this thing that's much ballyhooed and much talked about in a lot of circles, both positively and negatively? So when you speak, please state your name. As long as you're on the camera, just say who you are and give your 2 cents worth. Well, I just gave my 2 cents worth. Steve gave his.
So I'm Tony, and I got 2.5, maybe 3, but I'll talk fast. What's really fresh and been on my mind mostly, and sort of validates itself from various different sources, is this whole piece about the 0 point and what happens at that point on. And so I'd like to describe to you what I see, that I've accumulated information from others, really. I really don't know a damn thing at all. But I sense that when we go 0 point, the Schumann resonance hit that 13 cycles. That's when we lose all of our beliefs and all of our habits. We're left kind of with a clean slate. And we will sort of cocoon ourselves, if you will, sort of separate ourselves off and be learning how to manifest in 4th density or 5th dimension. Some people will ascend rapidly. They'll be able to do things like levitate and all the other magic tricks, you know, that we hear. Others of us will be doing life reviews of all of our past lives. And we've had between 1,000 plus of those, up to. And from that review, we'll kind of measure what frequency we're at that point, and where we enter back in, and create from, and follow along from there. The whole illusion of fourth dimension, 3rd density, 4th dimension time goes completely away. We're being forced into the present moment. There no longer will be a buffer of time to put any thought out there and just let it go, you know. It's really going to be important to be responsible, somewhat responsible with our thoughts. And so, in the past, we've been encouraged to cleanse by what we ingest into the temple and what we say when we talk to ourselves. Because we have a habit built in via the beliefs and the control systems and so on of stinking thinking, negative thoughts. Right? And 2 people could be standing on the train platform waiting for the train to come. And if I'm one of those people thinking that when it opens there's going to be a big party inside with a bunch of people having a good time waiting for me to show up and all that kind of stuff, and the person standing next to me thinking, oh, this son of a gun, I better watch out, he's going to push me in front of that train. That's the reality that's going to occur. And I'm not even going to be aware of this other person because they're not going to be in my frequency. Nor will I be in theirs. When you hear the term that you are the center of your universe, you realize that we've been pigeonholed into thinking that this is the only one. that we're going to be experiencing and expressing ourselves through choice, actually having choice among these infinite choices. We bring our I am down through into our core, down into our root chakra, where we have trust. Trust and intuition are things of the animal, not the higher self. It's things the animal needs to connect with its higher self. Belief is something, some thought form that we have, some thoughts about something, whatever it is. But faith is when we take and we bring that trust down right into the root of our body and we say, I'm all in, regardless. And take that choice. If we're sitting at the poker table and I got 4 aces, and I think you're bluffing because you're trying to tell me that you might have a straight flush that'll beat my 4 aces. I'm still all in, and I'm going to call your bluff. That's faith. That's the power. That's the coming into that we'll have at whatever frequency, because that's all this is about, is a frequency change. It's an upgrade. At what frequency we're going to play at. And we need to be careful that we don't slip back into third density. I mean, we will. But it's all about practicing on the stage of life. And nothing that we know here now, money, this, whatever it is, selling the lot, and any of it, means nothing anymore. It won't have any reference. It's difficult to imagine, but it will be, I believe, that gentle pushing. And within 7 to 10 months, even the people that we would say are asleep are going to begin to become gently agitated and awaken themselves. It won't take them as long as it did me, because the energies are there. I'm still not. I've been chipping away and slithering away at this narcissistic ego I've got. Huge. And as I recognize things are mirrors, and things that I've become faced with, somehow or another I get these big boulders that start splitting off, you know? That's what I mean when I say I'm on the rack, because I'm processing these things. I've asked for these things to happen because I want to be a little bit more better prepared and take advantage of the time I have now, if you will. So that's a little bit more smoother transition, and I can get my right brain or my creative side working again. Because all I've been an invalid that way, and it's really a challenge for me because I'm extremely mental. And my good friend Glenda saying, you know, thought this, thought that, or whatever, feel this, feel that. Hey, I talk Italian about that, you know. It's my ego that wants to hold on to this way that I know I'm afraid to let go of, you know. But by slow degrees, I'm letting go. And it's really having the courage of a warrior, the faith in knowing, the faith in knowing that everything is perfect, just as it is, just where you are. The issues I'm dealing with myself, with my own ego, is that I'm thinking that I'm so much further along. And the crushing is like, I have a saying, enjoy your suffering. Because what it really means is to suffer means you're getting through. You know, the mirroring process. And finding out the know thyself. Right? And so I look forward to every day. I look forward to the pain because I know it's telling me something, and I know now I have tools to process that rather than let it go on for days, weeks, months at a time, and ending up as a sloth on the bed watching television all day long.
Thank you.
The analogy of sloth was rather interesting.
So
Doing nothing.
you are?
I am what? Not a sloth.
No, I mean, you are speaking now.
Yes, my name is Jerry, and I guess I'm gonna say my 2 cents worth, whatever it's worth. If it's worth 2 cents or not. I've more or less given up 2012 as a frame of reference altogether. And the reason why I have is because I think our spiritual journey, as spiritual beings, is totally unique to each one of us. All these reference points out in the world are merely an opportunity to get to know ourselves better. It's a process of unfoldment. People who have been on the spiritual path most of their lives, like many of us here, look back on our lives, and things that didn't make sense at the time suddenly make perfect sense. As the suffering or the pain or the confusion or the loss at the time didn't seem to make any sense. It was like barriers were being thrown down in front of you, obstacles were being put before you, that you had to fight your way through, as you say about being a spiritual warrior. And you finally get to the point where you fight it and realize the only way to beat it is through surrender. Because surrender is the most difficult place to get to. That's where you suddenly realize that it's the ego is the warrior. The ego is the one that is going to surmount the obstacles. The ego is the one that is going to solve all the problems. The ego is the one that's going to make it all right. And when you finally get to the point where you realize that the ego, while not a bad thing, it's a necessary part of our psyche, and it's not going to go away, but I think it can be transformed. It can become instead of becoming an obstacle, it can become an opportunity. Instead of it being a place where we engage in self-denial and inner conflict, it can become a place where we open a porthole to our greater potential and possibility. I think all great religions and traditions have been trying to teach us over the centuries how to live a full life. A life filled with joy. A life filled with love and compassion and acceptance. And all the great teachers have told us that the only thing that stops us from that is we stop ourselves. That we are our own obstacle. We are our own barrier, and the only thing that we can do is to get out of the way. Get out of the way. And that's done through surrender. All good meditation brings you to that point of stillness, that quiet, still point within each of us, where the divine, the eternal manifests. And it does it without great fanfare, and it does it without a great deal of noise or celebration, although it can express itself that way. It comes with an increased sense of presence, an increased sense of awareness. And it doesn't stop there. What I've found out recently is that you could carry it with you the rest of the day. If during prayer and meditation you achieve a certain sense of presence and through surrender, that tends to stay with you in the course of the day. Now, to me, I would take the notion of ascension to mean to ascend from ordinary, quote-unquote, reality as it's being preached to us through the media, through education, and through propaganda, through all of the reinforcers in our culture. Ordinary reality, that's where we start, that's the launching pad. That's what we have to transcend. And in transcending that, and realizing that true oneness, true unfoldment doesn't happen out there. It happens in here. That this is just an artifact, it's just a stage. upon which we act out our spiritual quest, our spiritual journey towards self-realization. And self-realization takes place here. And it takes place in the heart, but it uses the mind and the body, and the spirit. It's all one, but it's not compartmentalized. Everything is in resonance, everything is in harmony, everything is vibrating in sync. And I think it's that beautiful moment of unfoldment. I like that image of a lotus spreading open and a light emerging from the lotus as a symbol of this unfoldment. I see unfoldment as ascension, and I don't see it as anything else. It's here. It's our love, our compassion, our presence. It's that unfoldment, and that's what lifts us up above the ordinary. Now, how the stage will change when more and more people reach that awareness and that enlightenment, how it will change is anybody's guess, but it will change. Because more and more people who are beginning to experience their authentic self and unfold into that way of being, the more the world around us is going to change, because they're not going to be living in delusion, illusion, self-denial, and so forth. So that's what I see occurring here, and that's what this 0 point is reaching, this point, this tipping point, where more and more and more people are going to manifest this sense of unfoldment. And as it happens, we're going to see even more profound changes going on in the world. What they are all going to be is up to anybody's guess. But it's going to be, because of the nature of it, it is going to be truly remarkable and wonderful. I have no doubt whatsoever. That I have faith in, for sure.
Thank you. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
I'd like one of the ladies to go. One of these.
Oh,
But go ahead, Peter. Go ahead.
Our light lady.
I'm over here. Hi, I'm Peter. The world's not coming to an end. It's not end of days. We're all feeling the energies. What we do with the energies is as important as what we think the energies are going to do to us. What I've been feeling lately, it started off with being on a path. When we start our path, we're open to everything. I mean, our path is real wide. And then we start looking and reading and looking on the internet, and we throw out this and we keep this, and our path starts narrowing. First, it's an intellectual concept. We have to convince ourselves, this is what I believe. So we study more and read more and da-da-da-da-da, and our path narrows even more. And then we get the blinders, because my belief is the only belief that's true. We don't see the truth in the other religions and philosophies and beliefs. That may serve to keep us separate. It's the last thing we need to do. From there, you move down to speak your truth. People have gotten so afraid of gossip and do not judge that they can't even speak their own truth anymore. When was the last time you heard somebody say, I think, or I believe? They go, well, Jesus said, or the Buddha said, or Edgar Cayce said. And I noticed in myself, I start saying, in metaphysics, we believe. I'm not talking my own truth. If I can't sit here and talk to one person and say, this is what I believe, and you reciprocate in the same way, how are we supposed to come together as a nation? More importantly, how are we supposed to come together as a world? I don't believe there's going to be a one world government or a one world religion. Evolution from man is when we can accept and honor other people's beliefs, even if they're different from ours, and live in harmony with it. The next thing I was thinking about was discrimination. And it's not peoples, it's not nations, it's between the real and the unreal. When you talk to people that say, oh, well, you know, I know we're all one, we're not separate, or I'm one with God, how about being one with your higher self? Right. Humanity exists in this vibratory range. Then we have our beliefs, which brings us up a little bit more. And above that, yeah, hopefully, and above that is the realm of our higher self. And if I can look at this experience of existence through the eyes of my higher self, everybody else can do it too. How do you do it? I'm not quite sure, but that brings us to duality. Honestly, there is no such thing as good and bad. Those are man-made
That's
concepts.
right, it's true.
When we're in spirit, there's no evil,
Yes.
there's no bad.
Yes, yes,
So if you can truly, truly
Yes.
believe
yes.
that there is no such thing as good and
Yes.
evil, you see things as they truly are.
That's the program.
Yes,
And
yes.
it's only life experiences that we do down here.
Right.
Once you get to that point, you can transcend your beliefs,
Oh, yeah.
you can transcend ego,
Mhm.
you can connect with your higher self and be there.
Yes.
That's what I think 2012 is all about.
Yay, that's beautiful.
And
Thank
that's
you.
unfoldment.
That's unfoldment,
Yes,
that's
that's what I said
ascension.
when I was.
Who's
I'm next, I'm next,
Glenda's
I'm next.
Your name is?
Your name is?
Oh, I'm Glenda, and I facilitate A Course in Miracles. That's a self-study program. When you're, Peter, talking about going within, it's not, it teaches to look at the thoughts in the mind that mankind sorts as good and bad. The thoughts of this world, external possessions, external, the form is real, the body's real. And what this course teaches is how, by practicing, I sort and look at these thoughts of illusion. They're illusion, and after first step is to realize that I question the world and this illusion and realize there's something better. And then after that, my only remaining freedom is to sort between truth thoughts and the thoughts of the world. And truth thoughts is really the beingness, the knowing of my higher self. My only responsibility is to accept the atonement, the at-one-ment for myself. That's my only responsibility on this world. People get hung up on what my job is, what this stuff out here is. There's no job that's loftier than any other job. Because really what Peter's saying is, there is no good or bad. What is the beingness, the perfection of God, source that's in everything. The living, loving source is all there is. I used to buy into, when I was sorting my thoughts, duality. And really, you have to get, I got past that to go, that's not even it. It is the knowingness and being. So now I take a breath, lean back, and I'm right in my spirit, myself. That beingness, that silence, that quiet. And what I do, I receive that spirit. I receive that oneness from God, the oneness of all of us, the sonship of all the brothers, God and myself. That is a receiving and allowing of that spirit to be here with me. And as I receive it, I give it, it extends out from me. The first step is to receive and know what I am, that's already there, and accept it and just be it and let it extend out. And during the day, I work full time, I co-own a business, so I am living this. I get practice in that. When I feel like I'm reacting, the emotions and the feelings are the only proper judgment, is for me to judge and interpret what am I feeling. That's the proper use of judgment. And to realize when I'm stressed or suffering, then I have stepped out there into the external world and I've judged something as separate from me, imperfect, they're stupid, they're not doing it right, politics is wrong, they ought to do it this way. I'm then out there in the world stepping around with this external stuff that's not real, it's part of the dream. I'm making images, forms, I'm making forms. The content is my spirit. So as soon as I can recognize that my feeling that I'm out there, I can choose again. I ask Holy Spirit to help me. Let me choose again and get quiet and go within. And then I know what's real. Just be calm, be quiet. And then what happens, the world, I've stepped back and the world is just unfolding. It's neither good nor bad, right or wrong. It just is. Can I be one with it? And there is not going to be a catastrophe. It's going to be that I've changed my mind and found myself. And as I find myself, that's what everybody else is doing. And as we find ourselves and live with myself, and I extend that love, the Course in Miracles teaches me how to remove blocks to the expression of my love, which is what Tony's talking about. He's processing and look, he's asked Spirit, show me. Now Spirit can be gentle in showing, but if I step out there and go, oh shit, show me, by golly, it will stamp on you, walk you around. You get what you ask for. So if I ask for gentleness and love, I just want to be able to be aware of the darkness, bring it to the light, and it will dissolve in oneness, in gentleness. I just can be aware. I don't need some big old hoopla anymore. I don't want it. That's part of the illusion, that there's this good, bad, up, down, high, low. Okay, it's calmer. I'm evaluating. I don't want to do that anymore. So I'm gentle with myself, and I ask Spirit to be gentle with me. So with the Course in Miracles, I observe my thoughts, bring them darkness to the light, it dissolves, and I'm in my beingness, and I step out again to do my doings in the world. And then I go off on my tangent again by how I feel, I come back, and more I'm in my beingness, more and more. That's my objective, to be in peace more and more when I'm out in the world. And it can be done. It can be done. Throughout the world, there's study groups called A Course in Miracles, and Jesus is the one that wrote the Course. It was channeled through two psychology professors at Columbia University in New York City. They didn't get along, these two professors. The one hired the woman, and they didn't get along, and one day this professor said he was tired of the angry feelings they were professors of psychology, for God's sake, at Columbia University. They're supposed to know how to get along. They could not get along. They were angry. They fought all the time. Finally, Bill Thetford said there had to be a better way, and the woman professor who he hired said she agreed. And within weeks, she started getting images and dreams and thoughts. It took 7 years, and she took a dictation. Took 7 years for her to write, to channel the Course in Miracles, and Bill Thetford would transcribe it. This has been around since 1976. I've been studying it 8 years. And you don't, and like what Tony's saying and everybody else is saying, because we're waking up more, and during the day, I'm awake sometimes, I'm in the now, awake, and then I'll fall asleep. I'm awake, and then I fall asleep. So it just happens, and more as we each be calm and in our peace and love, that we're of one mind, so that affects all the minds. So I highly recommend, go online, check where there's a Course in Miracles in your world, because Peter was saying, how do you do this? Well, it's a methodic process of looking at your thoughts and choosing again. There's a way out of this material world. Thank you very much.
Who's next?
I'm Margie. Interesting, I studied Course in Miracles, I believe it was 1987, and I did that for a while. But I'm kind of like Peter in that I've studied this, and I've studied that, and I've studied this, and I've studied that, and I've had a million opinions, and probably just as many beliefs. And where I've come to today is I'm more into just right here, right now. I don't have too many opinions about what's going to happen. I do believe people are, for want of a better word, waking up more, doing more thought of realizing self. For my personally, what I've experienced lately is it's kind of like I see God having a Margie experience. And when I'm in that place, even when I'm suffering, it doesn't hurt like it used to. It's a whole different experience. It's more like some of the things that I used to think were so bad are just other experiences. And I'm not kind of so anti the dark anymore. Actually, it's just another experience. And what do I think will happen in 2013 after we get by doomsday or whatever that is? I do think, I guess I believe a little like Greg Braden, I see that as a crossing in the timeline. I'm hoping that time as we perceive it starts lengthening, because I believe it's been shortening. It would be nice if it would lengthen again. So that's one of my beliefs that I'm sticking to, because I do believe thought creates, and that's what I'm creating in my world. And I guess that's the other one, is I think we each create with our thoughts. So it is nice to be aware of what you're thinking, be aware of what you're putting out. I'm just excited for the whole thing. And
That's the good way to look at it.
I think we're evolving. I think compared to where we've been, we're living better now than we ever have, despite what we can that we can complain about. Because I look at some other things, and it's all been a learning experience. It's all just been an experience. They used to have this saying when I was a kid: "He who dies with the most toys wins." I believe he who dies with the most experience wins. Not that there's winners and losers, but. And I just think God's here having, how many million?
7 billion
7 billion experiences.
human experiences.
Human
7
experiences.
billion.
I don't think God knows a darn thing about human experiences, because He's only love. He only love, and it's a divine love that's not of this world.
Hey, Margie,
Mm.
have you noticed that time has sped up? That what you think manifests quicker nowadays.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
part of the alignment. So be careful what you think.
You had something more to say though, you weren't finished.
I'm about done.
Karen, you don't want to say anything?
Say hello.
Speak in German, Karin.
Say everything.
Say hi to your German friends.
Yes. How do you say that?
Hi.
All right.
Okay, then
My
one more.
turn? Okay, I'm trying to speak very slowly so you can understand. My name is Maria, and I don't have a clue. I don't even care. Well, I do care, but I don't have a fixed idea of what is gonna happen. I can tell you about my own experience and how I'm seeing this. To me, it's a transformation and how things are changed, but it depends on the experience that I'm creating and the experience. It depends on what my mind is creating that day. So one thing that is happening, especially in the last few months, that I'm a lot more aware of the things that are going around me. And at the beginning, it started like it brought me back to my childhood and the things that happened and how now in this state that I am, how I relate to that and how I can bring it back. And it doesn't have any meaning because I am not a person anymore. But for a reason, I keep coming back. But not lately. After, the darkness, no, it was not darkness, it was light, because I want to see, I want to say the truth. I want to look with the heart. I want to look at the reality in that moment. So after that, it's been very good. I've been experiencing things in a different way. It's not. If something happened across in front of me, my heart doesn't pound, it doesn't suffer, you just take it and see it, and okay, and you breathe, and you see it, and you keep going. Besides that, energetically it's been a big change on me. I just, in the moment that I don't have to call anybody, meditate, I don't do anything, and that presence is with me because it's in my heart, it's in my love. And it's what I feel for everybody as I'm walking, as I'm doing. And I lose the time. I don't lose the time. I don't know what time it is. I don't care. So sometimes I had to look because, I had to look because I want to look, because I don't have to look. Because I am in the right time, in the right moment, and every moment that I go, and everything that I do. But the mind stopped me and brought me back and take me in that. But obviously, it's a beautiful love that I feel in my heart for me. And for everybody else, and be more aware of how people think and believe, and how we are act, and how behave and how all we try to find our path. And some people are so alone, they don't know what to do and where to go. So I just ready to go, do whatever I had to do, and I know that I had to work in with my open heart, and whatever it comes is help. I'm a helper. That's what I can and what I want to do. And it's been a fun ride. I mean, it's been fun, especially the last couple of weeks. I mean, my energy is moving so much and expanding. I don't feel anybody. It's just, it's openness and it's one with everything. Not when I see that chair, I don't say, oh, it's a green chair or something. I just become the chair. And that's a beautiful for me. So, enjoy it. That's it.
And we all agreed to be here at this time.
Oh.
Wasn't that
Even in this moment,
Oh yeah.
That's me.
all 9 of us.
And you know what? A meeting, especially a lot of people. I moved here 4 years ago, and I didn't know where to go. I went to India to the Wellness University, and I heard Melbourne, Florida, and here I am. You know, and I don't want to go anywhere else. I just know this is my place to be. I'm from Madrid, Spain, by the way.
Yeah, it's interesting that we have Maria from España, and we have Karin from Deutschland. Do they still call it Deutschland?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be Deutschland for a long time.
Well, I mean, you know, I think of Germany, and I know I learned Deutschland a long time ago, you know. But out of 9 people, we have 2 people that were born in Europe, right here in North America. So that's quite a percentage to be here. You know, 2 out of 9. Steve, you have something.
I think it's interesting that nobody's implied that we're going to have a catastrophic type of experience out of all of our conversations. And yet that's probably been a very hot topic when it comes to 2012-21. So, isn't that interesting? I think that what we, and also other people have said they don't know what's going to happen, and that's because we haven't decided what's going to happen yet. It's almost as if in the collectiveness, it's still yet to be decided as to how it's going to happen. Whatever it is, we've just described what's going to happen. We know that. Whatever has to happen outside of that will manifest it according to that. At least that's how I see it.
I agree, 100%. History, up until this moment, was dictated by implicit belief in externals as the determining factors. We're now reaching a point in history where we are becoming aware of the fact that our thoughts, our intentions, our desires are now truly what determines, and always have been, the principal determinant for humans as destiny and the unfoldment of history. That is why psychics and prophets could pick up on the future, because that energy was invested out here in the world, and they're sensitives. So they would be sensitive to that unfolding process in the world out there. But more and more of that is being withdrawn, and we're reaching a point, and perhaps this is what December 21st is, and that 0 point is that point at which it's all going to be determined by our thoughts, by our attitudes, intention, our love, and so forth. And the determinants out there are not going to be the principal determinants any longer. That's why psychics are saying they can't get a fix on the future. Why prophets are saying there's no prophecy beyond this date. Nostradamus doesn't have anything really clear to say about what's going to happen. Edgar Cayce didn't. Gene Dixon didn't. Many of the prophets are saying we're coming up with nothing specific. Nothing is going to happen. We don't know what's going to unfold. That's because it's not being determined by the world any longer. It's being determined by consciousness.
If you take the word apocalypse and go back to the Greek original meaning,
It means revealing.
It means unveiling.
Unveiling, precisely.
And what you're talking about is the collective consciousness of
Is the
humanity.
unveiling, yeah, right. Yeah, and that's going to be why whatever happens after that, we are going to be the creators.
And these are the things that we've been talking about in my videos for the past almost 2 years now. 10 minutes? I don't need that much time. Well, that means somebody else is going to do some of the talking. But anyway, it's been an interesting discussion, and absolutely, we all are in agreement, I think, in the room, that the deciding factor in what's happening in 2012 and actually what has always happened
Always been.
has been the consciousness of humanity. And whereas most people still seem to be asleep, there are more and more people that are crossing the threshold into a more alertness, a more awakeness, and
Well, I hate to use this as an example because it might sound like I'm promoting Dr. Oz.
okay.
But I saw a program the other day with Dr. Oz with Deepak Chopra on it. Now, I don't know about you, but 10 years ago that would have probably not happened.
Yes, indeed.
Probably 10 years ago Dr. Oz would not have happened. Because what Dr. Oz is talking about is that you are what you eat. You can be responsible for your health. In other words, your physical manifestation, it's your responsibility. That's one level of raising consciousness. A very popular show and watched by probably a lot of women, but a lot of men too. And Deepak Chopra was talking about this very thing, and when he was talking about how to lose weight, how to increase your health and all that, he immediately got into the idea of a meditation, and he walked everyone in the audience through a brief meditation, which was basically simply taking many deep breaths, calming yourself down, and then envisioning your ideal self. Your ideal self. The ideal body you want to have. To be at the ideal age that you would like to be. Now, he wasn't implying that, poof, that you're going to just suddenly be that. What he's talking about is that you are investing yourself in your greater good. You're taking responsibility. You believe that there is a relationship between what goes on in your heart, your mind, and your spirit, what goes on there, and what manifests in the world in the way of your body, your health, your relationships, and everything. This is on television in a popular show, and it's sort of like, there's some, there's probably people out there who are awake. I noticed in a number of conversations I've had with people, they say, oh, everybody's asleep and there's this small group of people who are awake. I have news for you. There's a lot of people who are coming awake. A lot of people.
Well, because of the principle of entrainment. The people that are, the more people that wake up, it entrains the people that aren't awaking.
Because you
And
actually
it brings their
Right.
vibration up. This is power versus force.
Yeah.
Again, as more people reach the compassion and go above the courage, which is what, 210? Steve, you
200.
200? You reach courage. We're going up now, and many of us are reaching compassion, where we're not holding on to I'm right and the whole world is wrong.
yes.
Surrender.
We're letting go of the need to be right.
Yeah.
The need to be the
Program.
only one that's
Yes.
that's got the correct dogma or doctrines or belief
There is no
systems.
such
There is no
thing.
agreed. This is where the world is going, and it must go to that place, because then we let down all of our walls and we can experience the joy and the peace and the compassion and the oneness. We can experience it individually, and that has to impact the world around us. It has to impact the financial system. It has to impact the politics. It has to impact all of the institutions, the religious institutions, the medical institutions, and the whole gamut of human society undergoes a change because we, the people, are changing.
It's how we be in the world.
Right.
It boils down to, it's not frou-frou, it's very existential. You know, I mean, if you want to intellectualize it, it's very existential. It's not idealistic, it's very realistic. Because how we be in the world is this force that goes out into the world from us. Every thought, word, action, every decision that we make manifests.
I got something. If God, and I truly believe it, is only love. God is only love, and that's how we were created out of. That image was love, not the form. We were created in His image, which is love. So now, because I'm coming from there now, from my beingness and that love place, then when I look out, I'm no longer judging that somebody's awake or asleep. They are all damn awake. They are one in spirit,
Yeah.
because that's all there is. So if I catch myself judging somebody, I go, oops, get back, settle, take that breath, settle back into my oneness,
That's right.
and I know in my heart that they're one with me. Then that is all there is. So we're all equal in oneness.
Yeah. When you make judgments, it's sort of like dropping a set of blinds down over
And
windows.
Yes.
You're not really seeing what's real any
Not-
longer.
right.
What you're only
Judging.
seeing is what you're seeing is the blinds, your judgment.
And I've dropped
Yeah.
my vibration. I'm in that external world
Right.
and in that duality.
And buying all
We
that
are
as a
one,
determination
we are-
of what goes on.
Yes.
You let that go, the blinds go up, and you suddenly see this is where it's determining your reality, your world, your
Yes.
universe, and the universe where we all sit
Yeah.
in.
And
Well, let me
yes.
try something here, because this is real different from what I was thinking about 2 months ago. When you're in your beingness, or when you're one with God, or when I'm connected to my higher self,
Mhm.
third dimension means absolutely nothing.
Yes.
It doesn't exist.
Their density, you mean.
It's an illusion, it's a
Absolutely
dream.
means nothing,
Mhm.
especially when you look to where we are going and the unlimited possibilities of where we can be.
I would alter that only in one way, is that it's not that it is nothing. Everything has meaning that you give it.
Right.
The things are neutral, neither good nor bad, have no meaning other than, no intrinsic meaning.
Yes.
No intrinsic value.
Yes.
The only thing, we give it its value.
Yes.
We give it its meaning. We give it everything. So when you finally realize that nothing outside of you is a determinant.
Yes.
And if you let something determine you and have you react, then it's holding you, that's attachment. That's what Buddha was talking about.
No
Yes,
matter,
yes,
no matter
yes.
what you,
Yes, yes.
no matter,
So you surrender that, let that go. That is Maya, that is illusion.
Yes,
The belief
yes.
that is real.
Yes.
That is not real. That is real, and that is what gives reality to any of that.
Yes,
what,
yes,
what we
yes.
experience are nothing more than life experiences. They do not have to define who I am.
Absolutely not.
Wow, right,
Absolutely not.
right.
You wrap it up?
Well, we're just going to close it. Thank you for watching. I don't care. It doesn't matter.
We're glad that somebody's watching. We hope somebody's watching.
Yeah, well,
Anyway, we're talking to
we
the
don't know how
parents
this is
and
going to come out.
You never
but
know.
It'll go up on
You never know.
YouTube, and I'll let each person here know. So thank you
Way
for
to go.
participating.
That's
You
great.
in the outer world, you've gotten a chance to look into my home, into another room of the
And
house.
tell them to watch your show every day.
Yes,
okay.
that
Yeah,
was
well, people
great.
already do
Okay.
watch my show every day. A lot of them.
Swing the camera over here.
This is the big screen TV that we show videos on, and we're going to
But
be.
it's not real.
But we're going to be showing the Iceland Revolution. Margie saying peace.
Everybody throw a kiss.
Karin, do you want to say anything to the German friends?
Kiss the
No,
camera.
Karen's not gonna say anything. Love.
Yes, yes.
But thank you all, and
One thing that I
that's
think
it.
about that, I've been explaining
We're done,
that.
Steve.
Really does. You know, especially when I do the oneness blessing or I connect with my, it is nobody, it's no
It's true.
limit, it's
Nobody.
nothing. You are just
Yes.
one with everything.
Spaciousness.
It's nothing.
Stillness,
It's
yes.
nobody. The other day on Monday we had the oneness blessing in Aquarius dream, and as was channeling the energy, my body was shaking,
Yes,
and
yes.
and when I was out of the physical body. I cannot feel anything. It was perfectly fine. I still can move, and at the end I had to lay down. And when I lay down, and I didn't care about, that I was teaching or whatever, my body started. It was no body. It was nothing.
Wow.
It was just only,
Wow.
not even one
Yes.
thing. It was just one. And it's been explaining that for the last 4 or 5 days.
Wow.
And wherever I go, there's no limits. It's nothing. So that to me,
Wow.
that's what it is.
Yeah. That's
It's
beautiful.
And
a continuum.
There's no limitation.
It's
We are
beautiful
limited
continuum.
ourselves. We limited
Yes,
ourselves in this
yes.
physical
Right.
body.
Yes, yes.
And we think there is nothing else besides this.
No.
And it's not.
Mm.
Of course, there's our programming of things, but to me, that's the experience that I'm having, and I think then is where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going to end, but it's not. And 3 or 4 months ago, I I will have a thing, and I didn't know if I want to be here or I want to go, because I know what is on the other side, and I'm ready to go anytime. So I asked the divine, please give me the experience. I want to feel the experience. So I went to sleep, and I was breathing, my heart went stop. I cannot feel my heart anymore. So, and I started transcending, and I went up and up. I felt, and I went to see these different people in here, and these different people in there, and these different countries, and that. And it got to the point that the mind started interfering. I think, I'm dying, I cannot feel my heart. And I came back. But it was the real experience. But I can do that anytime, but my body is limiting me to do that, because I had that limitation that I said to myself. So that's what I think that it is. And I asked for the experience, and that's what I'm living. Wow. No, it's not bad, it's that. Wow. And it's amazing. It's been that for the last week.
That's beautiful. Wow.